Hey everybody, I'm Tim with Higher Life, and today I'm with author Doug Dees talking about his book, Fish Prison. And today's just really an opportunity for you to learn the heart behind this book and get some insight from the author himself. So, Doug, thank you so much for being with me today.
Yep, good to be here. Good to be here.
So, tell me a little bit about your book, Fish Prison.
As an idea that came to me quite a few years ago, I started thinking about just myself and how I kind of get stuck behind the glass, and I think I'm doing life, but I feel like I'm contained. I'm holding back, and then I realized it's not just me. I do it with Sunday religion. I do it with everything else. And then it hit me a few years ago that Matthew 4:19, follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. That really what many churches and myself were doing was follow me and I will make you keepers of the aquarium. And we're just kind of holding our own little fishbowl experience and keeping our comfort zone close to us, and anything odd that we don't want, we kind of keep it out there. That's why the visual for the front of the book is an aquarium sitting in the ocean. So, so the fish in the aquarium, are they actually in the ocean or are they not in the ocean? Well, they're not. They're in an aquarium. The aquarium's in the ocean, but they're in the aquarium. And we just get stuck, and God's got to kind of break the glass and help us to get out. So the intent is for readers that are believers. I mean, I'm sure there's some non-believers that are going to read it, but those that are believers, for them to go, you can get out, you'll be okay, go do what God calls you to do, start breaking the glass. And half of it's written to myself to get me out of my own comfort zone. So that's the premise behind it.
Absolutely, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, what was your motivation for putting pen to paper and getting this out there?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me that because I was telling you that story a minute ago. Yeah, the motivation for me was, I knew I was supposed to preach years ago, and I couldn't figure out how to do it because every time I started thinking about preaching or looking into a church, I just kept getting stymied. I kept getting stopped, and it was like, what's going on, God? I feel like you're telling me go preach, but no. I said, well, which is it? It's kind of like Paul wanting to go, on a mission, and God, the Spirit of God, just kept stopping him. And a few years ago, I realized what he was saying is, I don't want you to preach. I want you to preach on paper, because you stutter when you're trying to preach. You lose your way. You chase rabbits. You chase squirrels. You're ADHD. I've got a doctorate, so I'm ADPHD now. So I can't read very well when I'm up there. I just get lost when I'm speaking sometimes, when I'm in front of a group of people, which is actually easier just looking at your face on the screen. It's a lot easier. And then I realized he was saying, no, you're going to get the word out by preaching on paper. Okay, so if I screw up, I can go back and rewrite it and edit it. And it's like, okay. So these things that have been going on in my heart that I've been writing for a few years, it turns out through blogs and books, I can get it out there, and I can catch all of my mess ups prior to them being delivered.
Now,
So
tell me who
that's
the intended audience of this book is. Who do you want to reach, and what do you want them to take away from it?
I guess my intended audience is any believer that feels like, gosh, there's got to be more to it than what I'm going through. There's got to be more to me living the life as a disciple, following Christ, than showing up on Sunday morning, checking the worship box, going to my group, checking my group box. Okay, well, there we go. That's it. If that's 3 hours, that's 3 hours out of 168 hours in a week. There's got to be more to this. And I think it comes out when Jesus talks about in the Great Commission, the Great Commandment, we're to love God, love others, but we're to make disciples as we go. And the as you go is getting you beyond that glass. And so I'm hoping that it gives them the courage to step out, grab a hammer, break some glass, and start swimming. Get out there. The back of the book, it says, come on out, the water's fine, not come on in, the water's fine. Because you're fine with the water you've got. You're nervous about that water that's out there. And so that's believers that want to be better disciples and be disciple makers that can get out there and say, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to let God run it. I'm not going to be so contained. We're just too contained in the Western Christianity. So that's kind of the motivation, what I hope who reads it.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time today, and I just encourage everyone to read Fish Prison by Doug Dees. And I'm just so grateful you sharing your story and really just making an impact for people for God's kingdom.
I hope so. Hope so.